Well, hey guys, welcome to the studio. Tonex is here. We've got Tonex Max loaded up. We're going to put it through some paces, run it through some tests, check out what's going on with this. Let's get to it. And here it is, Tonex. Absolutely blown away as I've been running through this morning. We're going to give it a quick listen, but I just want to show you the interface real quick. First off, this is resizable down to this size and kind of up to about full screen, which is very nice. They give you categories over here on the right-hand side, so Fender type stuff, British Vox type stuff, some boutique amps, and from there, let me get me out of the way, handsome as I am, where you can run through some presets, single click, and let's load it up on a track we have ready to go. And at any time, you can just kind of vary gain or any of the other controls as you see fit. How did we do the testing? Well, we brought in clips, looped samples from Stratocasters, Les Pauls, Gretches, from some producers that submitted some direct recordings, all clean, and we chose some different settings in Tonex to see what it would do. Here's a Stratocaster in position 4 as an example here, and here is the Tonex setting that we chose for it to start. Once you've selected an amplifier, just play it in your DAW. Variable gain, bass, mid, and treble. And again, it depends on the amp that you're looking at, what kind of controls they will give you. If I go to a different category, say the Fender category, I'll see different amps over here. And they'll usually give you a description over here of whether it's a drive type or a high gain or a clean type, and you can say, oh, I want clean, and it helps you kind of sort through it faster. They also provide you with 2 utility stages, I will call them, different processing like reverb or compression or noise gate that's kind of outside the amp sim itself. And also something like a channel strip, what they call post. Let's take a look at those 2 things. Okay, so here we are, and we can see up top we have some settings here for noise gate, compression, the amp sim itself, the cabinet sim itself, and over here is the reverb. So, for example, if I was in a higher gain and I wanted to turn noise gate on and off, here's on and off. And if I click noise gate, I have some basic controls. The noise gate actually is pretty decent on this, I must say. Compression on off, you hit compression, there's your compression settings. And then over here on reverb, on off, or if I hit this, I can see that I have some settings, very basic, few different types, and generally pretty good reverb on this. And this is all manageable in real time. Then over here on the far left, it looks like a mixing board, and if you hit this, this is what they call post. And so this is like a channel strip that gets provided for you to do some stuff after the fact. And an interesting knob over here for mix, and this actually mixes from your DI signal over to the overall effect like this. There's the amp sim, and without. Now, weirdly, reverb stays on until I kill it. But there's the amp sim, and we put reverb back on. And sweepable mids, that type of thing, so I can kind of say, okay, well, a lot of mids, a lot of resonance, and then I can kind of sweep. Kind of dial it in a little bit better. Okay, here's a Gretsch guitar. We are running it through the Dumble emulation, and they'll always tell you what type of amp and what type of cabinet they ran with it, and very basic controls on it. All right, now just to A-B that, here's the DI signal. Normal, and with the amp sim. It's a nice one. This is a Gretsch in the bridge position pickup, running through a Princeton reverb. Bring up that reverb a little bit. A Gibson Les Paul set in the in-between position, so both pickups on, running through a Vox AC30 with a Klon Centaur drive, and I found this one interesting. So my first impressions, and by the way, this discussion is also going on in our Facebook group, Recording Tips. Pop over there if you want to join in. First off, I think it's believable. I think the Fenders sound like Fenders, Vox, Marshall, Soldano. I think they've really nailed this stuff. My second impression is this is pretty easy on the CPU. And that means I can run my buffer size kind of small and play live without a ton of latency involved. And I know that's a big deal to a lot of people. It doesn't make a big difference to me because I usually monitor with zero latency through a different effector, but this isn't about me. For the people who want to actually track with this, the low CPU usage means you can probably do that. Next up, right out of the gate, I found this to be fairly intuitive in terms of one click loads a new sound. There are the dials. You can kind of change it, saving sounds, altering things like reverb. I didn't read any manual. I was just pretty much able to use this thing. One thing that struck me was I was thinking about doing a shootout between this and Guitar Rig 6, but I don't think this is really a multi-effects processor. It's really fairly strictly just an amp sim. The amp, the cabinet, maybe a pedal up front, and I know it has reverb settings and a few post effects like a channel strip, but I don't think this is really going for that, I have 6 pedals on and with echo and delay and chorus and phaser and flanger and, a distortion. This is not really competitive with that type of thing. This is, I think, more competitive for get the guitar sound right out of the box, and if you decide to effect it up later with chorusing or phasing or whatever, that's kind of on you. It's not really this thing's job to go into that area. Incidentally, there is a free version of this with a limited amount of amps and pedals. The pay versions right now are still on the sale price, the pre-purchase price last I checked. What you saw here was Tonex Max, which is the biggest one that they make, and set me back about $250. Seemingly worth it for how I'm going to use it. I like it. Notable things that you want to check out: the Dumble amplifiers, the Klon Centaur pedal, any of the Fender stuff, like especially the Princetons and that type of stuff. And the fact that you can click through this stuff with a single click while auditioning and immediately alter things like gain or mid-range and dial it right into your mix. That's a big deal for me because it's fast, set it, forget it, move on. Well, guys, I had a lot of fun putting this together for you. We got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.